Hey, and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since I posted my last video tutorial. I did record quite a few videos, however, I did not feel inspired editing them at all. But I'm coming back, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to work with the rounder eye shapes and how to lift everything up. My model Daniella has a gorgeous big eyes. They are almond shaped, but a little bit more on a rounder side. So first, I'm starting by canceling any natural color on the upper eyelids. And for this, I'm using NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer in the shade Canal. Canceling any natural color will help me to create a clean canvas for all the color correction that I need to create in order to lift the rounded eyes. And I'm adding the color residue onto the bottom lid, which will help the further products to adhere better. So the first color I'm going to be using is from Charlotte Tilbury's eyeshadow palette in color Sophisticate, and I'm dusting the light layer of this eyeshadow all over the eyelid. This will help me to smooth any creases and help further eyeshadows to blend better. The second color from the same palette is going to be this dusky gray color, which I'm going to apply all over the eyelid and up until the crease line. Throughout this whole eye look, we're going to play with the darker colors in order to disguise the rounded eye shape. If you guys know color theory, then you know that lighter colors, they always appear closer to us, and the darker colors, they always appear more far away for our eye. This is what we're trying to achieve here. We're trying to disguise the rounded eye shape by applying darker color. That will visually flatten the rounder eye shape and will make it appear less protruding. And I continue building the eye shape, concentrating dark gray color from Rock Chic palette on the outer corner of the eye, slightly smoking the shade out. And I also add the same color to the inner eyelid near the lash line and smoking everything out. You can see me switching from one brush to another, so I'm applying color with more dense, smaller brush from Louise Young collection, and then I'm smoking everything with a soft, fluffy brush. This will ensure that my blending is seamless and then there is no lines left that are visible to the eye. At this point of the eye makeup, I am not very careful with the blending in respect to the shape, as I will be cleaning up everything later in the video. Meanwhile, all I'm doing is concentrating the darker color near the lash line and blending everything towards the crease. Note that all of the eyeshadows I'm using are matte. There is no shimmer involved at this stage. This is because shimmery eyeshadows reflect light and also may appear closer, and we are trying to disguise the rounded shape and make everything appear flatter and more far away. I did, however, decided to add a slight lighter matte shade in the middle of the eye, just for that more interesting finish. Next, I'm going to clean up my eyeshadows by using fresh baby wipe and my finger, and look how quickly I remove eye makeup, creating the perfect line for the look that I have in mind. Next stage in my eye definition is going to be gel liner, which I'm generously applying all over the waterline on the bottom and the top eyelid. And watch me doing this. Every time I work on one part of the eye, I ask Daniella to look away to the opposite side. This will ensure that my application is smooth and it doesn't trouble the models, because this is quite tricky area to kind of line, and it's not always the most comfortable part of the makeup application. Once I tight lined all of the inner part of the eye, I'm also adding a slight definition on top of the lash line. Now, I don't want this liner to be very thick, however, I will concentrate most of it on the 3/4 of the eye. This is so-called lifting technique, will help to disguise the rounded edges of the eye, and by adding and smudging the dark shade, we elongate and lift the eye. Now watch me working in between 3 brushes. One brush applies the gel liner, the other helps to smudge, and a third one smudges the edges. And I always work in that way. I'm kind of switching back and forth between different brushes to help me achieve different finish of the application. So I've added a black color in the waterline, smudged it a little bit lower, and now I need to diffuse this lower lash even more. So I introduce lighter gray shade, and this will help me to blend the black color on the lower lash into the skin. Once most of my eyeshadow work is complete, I then curl the lashes and also pop some individual lashes and let them dry. And while they're drying, I'm combing some Got2b brow gel through Daniella's eyebrows in a diagonal shape. Daniella has wonderful eyebrows, and I will come back to filling them in later after the gel has dried. But now I'm coming back to the lashes and coating them in the mascara, using my finger as a shield not to transfer mascara onto the eyelid. And for the first time, I'm going to be using this Maybelline Brightener Concealer in the shade 05. It has gone viral over the TikTok and YouTube Shorts, so I decided to give it a go. And actually, I quite like the texture. I also like the color. So the idea of this light shade with a pink undertone is to brighten under the eye area. So I'm actually using it as a low lighter for this video. So here you see me cleaning up the line I have created on the outer part of the eye, and I'm also generously applying it in the inner under eye area. By generously packing the color in such manner, I'm visually lifting and brightening all of these under eye areas. So once everything is done and the makeup is complete, you will see how much the face has transformed and how much more lifted the face appears. Okay, now on to one of my favorite foundations. This one is from Hourglass in the shade Warm Beige 10.5. It may appear a little bit darker than Daniella's skin at this point, but do not worry, once it melts into the skin, it literally takes on Daniella's color so well. And once everything is powdered and baked, yes, today I'm going to bake. I do not use that technique very often. However, for this look, I decided to give it a go once again, and you will see that everything will blend seamlessly. So I'm generously applying the foundation right from the stick, and then using a short stubby brush, I'm pushing it further onto the skin. And as you can see, under eye area is much lighter and I cannot leave it uncovered. So I'm gently pushing the foundation over all of these areas that I have kind of low lighted. So the color will still peek through the foundation. However, it already overlaid any discoloration that was under the eye previously. And you can see how this brighter kind of parts, they still peek through the foundation under the eye, elevating the look and making the skin appear more bright and more fresh. And for the body, I'm using a mixture of Body M Instant Blur Body Foundation, Nivea Body Cream, and also Limbos Highlighter. Now that our base is complete, I need to bring back the definition. And for this, I'm using Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Stick. I love this stick. It's actually quite creamy and quite thick in consistency and very, very pigmented. So for Daniella's medium skin tone, this is a perfect choice. So once I applied the shadowing on all of the parts where definition is needed, I then use the clean blending brushes and blend everything away. Here on the nose, I've done a little wonky line, so I've cleaned it up later. But on the cheeks, I start to blend everything away with this MAC Duo Fiber brush. Also the same for the jawline and all over the face, really. The key here is to blend away until you can no longer see any lines left. Only then the blending should be complete and be considered as flawless. The good thing about working with creams on creams is that until you powdered, you actually have plenty of time to blend everything around. And the next creamy product before I powder everything is going to be this cream blusher from Dear Dahlia in the color Sunset Romance, and I'm lightly dabbing it over the highest points of the cheeks. Okay, now on to the part that I do not use often in my work. However, I do find that recently baking is growing on me, especially for my YouTube videos. So here I'm using the Illamasqua translucent powder in a very generous manner with a triangular sponge in all of the areas that I want to blur out and properly set and highlight. And once I packed the powder in all of these areas, I am letting them sit for at least 10 minutes. So now it's a perfect time to come back to the eyebrows, as the brow gel has definitely dried by now. And I am using a really cool product from the brand NYX, and these ones are their pens for the brows. I have been using these a lot recently. I really like that the tip is really fine and it creates the hair-like strokes. You see me using this on Daniella. As Daniella's look is really strong, I did not want to overpower the smokiness of the eyes with a super blotchy eyebrow. So I wanted to keep them bushy and natural. And this pen is just perfect for this finish. Okay, and now I am dusting off all of the powder, all of the baking. It's always nerve-wracking part of the makeup for me personally, as I don't bake often enough and I'm always worrying about the cast that the powder may leave on the skin. However, every time after I finish, it all works out perfectly, thanks God. The only thing I notice after baking is that I need to duplicate all of the shadowing and all of the blushers that I created with creams. So here you see me adding Milani Baked Blush in the shade Luminoso, and I also follow up with NARS bronzing powder in the shade Laguna, which is perfect for Daniella's tan skin tone and it doesn't look too strong or too pale. Another thing to add about the baking is that after you dust that powder off, the skin becomes like a perfect canvas for the further powder application. So all of the contourings and blushers that are of powder consistency, they just glide on the skin so seamlessly and are so easy to blend in. And now that the makeup is almost completed, I thought that the look just looks too powdery, too matte. So I wanted to add the shimmery eyeshadow from the Uptown Girl palette from Charlotte Tilbury in the inner corners of the eyes, just to elevate the look a little bit and make it a tad more interesting. And for the highlighter, I'm using Milani Baked Highlighter in the color Rosa Romantica, which is champagne color with a slight pink shimmer to it. I really like this product a lot. It blends into the skin nicely and looks really beautiful, almost like a water, I would say. I really like this one. And also dusting a little bit of the highlighter on the Cupid's bow to elevate the look even further. And of course, as our eyes are so strong, I wanted lips to be a little bit more on a muted side. So for this, I'm using Charlotte Tilbury's iconic nude lip liner, which is one of my favorite nude liners ever. It glides on super easy, it is gorgeous neutral color, and it also stays on the lips all day. And I'm filling in the middle part of the lips with Charlotte Tilbury's lipstick in Nude Kate, which is also one of my favorite nude lipsticks out there. Daniella also has a few beauty spots and I did not want to overlook them. So I am filling those in using Freck, which is normally used for the freckle creation, but this time I used it to create the beauty marks. And I'm finishing this makeup look with hydrating spray from the brand Limbos, which is called Suit Me Up. I really like it, especially that we have baked and powdered face so much. We needed to bring a little bit more life finish to the skin. And here is the full look complete, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial as much as I did enjoy creating it for you. And thank you very much for watching, and I see you on my next one.